Welcome ICS3U folks. Today is our first lesson in Chapter 3, which is our second programming unit, and we're going to be learning how to output to a file today, I hope. You've got a word processing document open. I've got Smart Notebook here. It doesn't have to be Smart Notebook because there's not going to be any pictures. You know, your Word Perfect or your Google Docs will be just fine. This is going to be text. But I do want you to have Ready going. We're going to go back and forth between here and Ready all the time. So I'm going to open a new HSA console. I'm going to call it Hello World Revisited. Revisited. Okay, and as it turns out, the console business we're actually not even going to use today, and I'm gonna comment it out. I just comment it out. We're not going to use it. Um, the first thing when we're doing some uh, file handling is we need, and I'm going to be jumping back between the program and the note. So the first thing is we need this line import java.io input output dot star, and we need to have that in our programs when we're doing file handling, so we have all the classes that we need to put text in a file or read text from a file later. So import java.io.star, and notice that it changes to that thin black color, so you realize that it understands what you're talking about. So we need that line. Um, then the next thing is we set up, and this is how we get output out of our program to something, is using a class in Java called the Printwriter. Not a console, but the Printwriter. So I'm going to put, I wonder if I can make this a bit bigger, just so you can see it better. Editor window. Yeah, I'm going to change that, make it a little bit bigger for you. Yeah, okay. I hope you can see that maybe a little bit better, or not. Uh, Printwriter. So in my main, I'm going to have this Printwriter command. Printwriter turns black as well, and I can call this anything I want to. PW for Printwriter. Maybe I'll call it Printwriter rest all. It can be called anything you want. New Printwriter. And we've seen this sort of style, new whatever, a bit in Java. We used that when we did the console. In here, in this bracket, right there, goes where we would like to print the material to. In some cases, this will be a file. If we just wanted it to be output to the screen, so Printwriter is a class built into Java that allows us to specify where the output will go. So first of all, if we just wanted to go to the screen and we're not using the console at all, um, destination is where we set up the output's destination, whether it be the screen or the file. For the screen, destination is system.out. System.out, the normal output for a Java program is the screen, and system.out would put it to the screen. And so I know you're madly typing here, but you can pause me, remember. You can pause me. That in here, I'm going to write system.out, and it knows what I'm talking about. And then I would do my normal dot print line hello world. So this is set up a output stream that's going to go to the what's called the output console, not the HSA console, just the normal output console. Something strange has happened though. Nothing has happened. I didn't see a message. I didn't see anything going on. But what happens is after you print something to this Printwriter, you actually need to flush the system. PW rest all dot flush. And flush is a method in a Printwriter so that it'll actually do the printing. So now if I run that, there. Now it actually, once it flushes, the output gets sent to the screen. Yes, it actually is called flushing, believe it or not. And I think, do I have that message? Yeah, to actually send output to its destination, we must flush. I don't know if that's somebody's sick humor. Output to its destination, we must flush. Oh, well, don't think too much about that. Dandy. Okay, well, this felt like a lot of hassle to get something that we had with the console. So what's the big whoop here? Well, the big whoop is we're just going to be able to change a little, something small, and then this will be able to go to a file. And that's the idea of when it goes to a file, we can save it forever if we'd like. And that's going to be cool. And that's what our goal is today, is to output to a file. So in order for destination to be a file, we must use a file writer. So just like we had a print writer, we have to have another class that has a connection to a file. And so that the syntax looks like that. So a file writer, FW, file writer. And again, the FW is whatever you want to call it. You could call it Bill or Ferd or whatever. FW stands for file writer. But I'm going to put that in my program. File writer FW equals new file writer, and then in the brackets here is the file name that I want to call it, whatever I want to call it. I call it destination file in the note, but it could be called anything you want. Output.txt, whatever, and it'll produce a text file. So I'm going to call it destination file.txt. And what it will do when I run this, not yet because I haven't connected it to the file. Right now it's still going to go to the screen, but I can connect the print writer to the file writer by just saying I'm going to print to this file. Now notice that I didn't put the file name in there, but I put the file writer inside the print writer. Okay, and I'll get that to the note and let you see that in the note. It says, note, this line must appear before the print writer. Did you notice that the order that I put this in? I put the file writer, then the print writer. They're in alphabetical order, right? Okay, and I'm not going to worry about that line yet. I'm going to actually run my program, but I'm going to save it first because, remember, this is going to save a file for us. It needs the program needs to know where to save it. You'll save it in your notes directory. I'm just going to dump it on my desktop. I have a temp folder that I use for this sort of thing. You see there's all my math stuff in there and a whole bunch of stuff. I'm going to save it there, and that file will be where this file will end up. Now I'm going to get an error. Okay, so there was one error. It says the constructor file writer can throw the checked exception, blah, 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 blah. Sounds like a very complicated error, and it is. It must be enclosed in a try statement that catches the exception, or else this method must be declared to throw the exception. Now, we'll know more about what this all means soon enough, but this idea is we need to sort of get it so in case something happens wrong with the file, like maybe it can't save, or somebody's using this file and it won't let you write over it, or something goofy's going on, that we have to deal with what would happen if that error occurred. And this is called an exception in Java. And for now, later in the unit, we'll actually learn how to deal with these better. But we're just going to say throws Ioexception. So throws an IO exception, which basically tells Ready to say, well, I don't want to have to deal with this error. You deal with it in whichever way that you feel suits. So add that to your note. FileWriter could cause IO exceptions, so we include the words throws IO exception in our main line. Oh, by the way, I meant to mention this when we started the note. To make it look like this, these commands that are in the different font, that's Courier font, and that's what makes it look like ready. So if you want to make your note look like ready, that's Courier. This is just my default font that I like, which is Arial. So this in here is Courier. You see it's Courier. So this is Courier down here, if you want to make your note look beautiful like mine. Okay, by the way, now that we've thrown that exception, this should work. Okay, so I'm going to save it again. Always save, run, and it doesn't look like anything happened, right? Well, remember, our output didn't go to the screen anymore. It went to the file. So what we should do is see if we can find that file. And I got junk all over the place. Where's my temp directory? It's out on my, oopsie. It's out on my desktop. There's my temp directory, and see if I can find a called destination file. Is there a destination file? There's hello world. So it printed out that message to a file that I could save forever or import into other programs. It's a open with Notepad. It's text file, txt file. Dandy. What else? Where's my note? I don't think I got much left to say. It's good because the note's getting long now, isn't it? Okay, what I wanted you to do is to copy the text that you made so you had an example in your note. So the finished hello world, there's the program. And I wanted to mention something at the end here. Usually we don't want to leave a file or a Printwriter open. Usually we would like to, when we're done with it, we would like to close the Printwriter. So instead of having it, it flushes to put stuff out to the Printwriter, but when we're done with it, we should close it. Anything to do with files should be closed at the end of once you're done them. Okay. Oops. Close. And that'll close the Printwriter, and everything will terminate fine. And remember, that ran without any output because it went to the file. All right. So close the files at the end. I think there's a couple of little exercises for you to do. It shouldn't take you too long. Make sure you save your note, put it in your notes folder, and then you can get into the exercises for today. That's it.